Hey guys, it's Core Ross and welcome to 6 News. So today we got the reveal for Spillover, which is the first content drop for Rainbow Six Extraction. And it also launches today as well, which is really freaking cool. Because we're used to Siege doing its reveal and then 3 weeks later we actually get the content, whereas with Extraction we're getting it right away. So this is called a Crisis event. So it's bringing in a new operator, which of course is Zofia. She was actually released accidentally yesterday. But the Crisis event is called Spillover, and it's interesting. It sounds really boring to begin with when they first describe it, but I'm going to run you through how it works and the more interesting parts of it. So first of all, Crisis event lasts for 3 weeks, and the assignments playlist will disappear for those 3 weeks, which is kind of disappointing because I actually love those assignment playlists rotating every single week. But I understand probably why they're doing it, to keep the playlist nice and quick for matchmaking. But certainly the assignments will return after the Crisis event ends 3 weeks from now. Also, the Crisis event isn't in any way locked. You can jump in right now. There's no requirements or anything like that. However, it is 3 players only, so you do have to jump in with either friends or randoms to play it. It's also very defensive oriented. It's kind of like a horde mode, and the way they described it actually sounded like maybe every Crisis event will have a theme. So this is defense themed, maybe we'll have a stealth theme or an attack theme in the future, which means certain operators might always be top notch, because like in this, Gridlock is amazing, whereas a stealth event in the future might be great for Vigil or something like that. So let's actually go over how this actually works. So the Crisis event Spillover is limited to one submap, so you go in and that is it. You're not going anywhere else after that. You have 9 colonies to take out, and it is different how each of those colonies react to you, and every colony you take out, the next one gets harder and harder, and the enemy types get harder and harder as well. Also, there's a lot of flexibility, so you can go colony by colony one at a time. But if your team is good enough, or you're finding it too easy, or you just want to change it up, you can actually go after a colony each, so you can speed through the entire event, if of course you're good enough to actually be able to do that. There's also new progression for you to do, so there's new assignments that you can go through, and you can get the auto turret for one of them, and the other ones give like cosmetics and such. Now, I also found out, because I got to play this a little bit early, that you can actually just jump into normal stuff too, and it'll complete those assignments as well. So you don't actually have to play Spillover to get all the additional content. You could just keep playing the stuff you've been playing before, and it will count towards the assignments, so you can get the auto turret without actually going into Spillover if it ends up not being your kind of thing, for instance. So let's go into the details of the variety this brings in, because it's not exactly clear, I think, when you jump into it to begin with, how this actually works. So you're going to have 9 colonies on the map that you go into. 3 of them are going to be cloaked, and anything that spawns from them, of course, are invisible. Then you're going to have 3 colonies that are spore, and this means any enemies that spawn from it are spore carriers. And then you've got 3 colonies that are elite, which means at times it will spawn enemies that are elite class, and they are basically bullet sponges. So you can pick and choose which ones you want to attack first, because the ones you attack first are easier than the ones you attack later. And let's talk about that. So the first colony is just going to have grunts, no matter the type of the colony that you're attacking. But then the second and third one, then it changes up. So you get more grunts if it's a spore colony, you get more grunts and spikers if it's an elite colony, and you get more grunts and breachers if it's a cloaked colony. Now the fourth one is going to be grunts and rooters, no matter the colony type. And then the 5th and 6th, you get more grunts and rooters if it's a spore, you get more grunts and spikers and rooters if it's an elite. You get grunts, breachers and rooters if it's a cloaked. And then the 7th and the 8th, you'll get grunts, tormentors or smashers randomly picked at the start of the incursion, no matter the colony trait. And then the 9th will be grunts and apexes, no matter the colony trait as well. And this means you and your squad can change up how you want to play it, and you can make it different with every incursion. It's very open to your ability to actually modify the gameplay and the enemy types depending on which order and type of colony you attack. And the way you attack is simply get a canister from the extraction point and go and chuck it into one of these colonies. You can do them 3 at a time, like I say, if you want to. Especially maybe the first 3 actually might be quite easy, so that might be a really good way to get it done faster. Then team up for the future nest, and maybe deal with all the elite nests first, for instance, because that might be an easier kind of strategy. So there's a lot of strategy, a lot of gameplay options here, and yeah, it's interesting because my first impression is it's really normal. It doesn't seem that interesting, but there is the variety in there. So I'm going to sit there and play it for quite a while and see what I think and if I really actually enjoy it. And of course, this is the first ever Crisis event in the game, so we're going to see if this actually is good enough content to keep this game relevant for the future. It also gives us a little bit of insight in what they're planning to do with future Crisis events, because like I say, this is specifically focused on defense, and I think there will be an attacker based one, and I think there'll be a stealth based one in the future. So that opens up a lot of potential gameplay that could be very good. And yeah, that's kind of it. It's just a matter now of jumping in. It's live, it's playable, and of course Sophia was out yesterday, so sit down, enjoy it, and go and use this new auto turret as well, which I think is going to be a lot of fun to play with. Oh yeah, I should also mention there's going to be new Maelstrom Protocol rewards, which are going to be charms. These will be based around the Spillover theme, and these are kept forever. So if you attain, whatever rank you get in your Maelstrom, you will get charm for that too. So definitely worth doing some Maelstrom during the Spillover event too. And yeah, I'm looking forward to playing this. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.